Dahlia?
Yes.
Commissioner Story?
Yes.
Commissioner Perkins?
Yes.
Commissioner Messerschmidt?
Yes.
Mayor Condon?
Yes.
And then I have one more, and this is Connie T. at 210 West Park, and it is, I'm making a motion that it be approved half and half, that the adjustment, they go back to the amount that she typically pays, and then pay half and half because she states that she, when Mr. Gravalia went to check on this, the pool was not there. Something happened to the pool. She states she put the pool up, and but there were at the time that he went to inspect it, there was no pool there, so the pool busted or something. So it was recommended by Mr. Gravalia that we approve it half and half. That we not give her the full adjustment, just half of the adjustment.
Could she not prove that if the pool did bust, like any type of material or any type of proof that... Was there any evidence that there was actually a pool there in the beginning?
I believe there might have been some evidence that there was a pool there, but there wasn't a pool present when he checked on it.
Tom, do you have an opinion on that?
Comes down to person's word. I mean, however you want to do it. I mean, I guess if there was a pool when they filled it up, I don't know why they wouldn't get it all, but at the same time, maybe there was never a pool, so. I'm not sure, Mayor, who you believe and what you believe.
Well, this is certainly a mystery.
Is there a big patch of dead grass with the pool? I mean, what are we looking at?
You want to table this?
I think that's a fantastic idea.
Okay.
Unless somebody's got a drone picture or something.
Hey, Don, when you drive around later, can we go look at a pool? Maybe not?
Yeah, we'll.
I make a motion that we table Connie T's swimming pool sewer adjustment.
Second that.
Commissioner Garavalia?
Yes.
Commissioner Story?
Yes.
Commissioner Perkins?
Yeah, buddy.
Commissioner Messerschmidt? Mayor Condon?
Yes.
Does anybody ever think of Scooby-Doo like during this time? Time for the mystery wagon or machine to come out.
Okay. And one last thing that I have to bring before the council is, Mr. Mayor, is I would like to make a motion that we provide $1,200 an annual monetary fee, a payment for community recycling to Do Your Part Recycling, a business here locally that is owned by Andy Lamont. And I'm making this motion because Andy has come to us before and asked for assistance. We at one time had recycling services in the city, and we had to cease that operation because of abuse, and so we no longer had that to offer to our citizens. And many citizens do like to be able to recycle. Not everyone does, but the city was willing to pay for it prior, even when everyone didn't participate in it. And also, prior to, we didn't have any kind of policing to make sure other people didn't come in and use our services, which is the case here. I mean, other people may come and use Andy's services, Mr. Lamont's services, but Andy came in, and the first thing he was told was get a business plan. Andy did that. He is now a non-profit organization called Do Your Own Part Recycling. He's worked very hard. He's one of our own. He saw a need. He has stepped up to this need in our city. And the cost of hauling the recycling off is $600 a load. He anticipates hauling off 2 loads a year. As his business grows, you know, there'll be more loads. His expense will grow with it as well, and hopefully he'll be able to go to other places and get some assistance as well. But at this point, he is providing a tremendous service to those citizens in our community who desire to recycle. And my hat's off to him for it, and I make the motion that we make this payment to him.
Can I say something real quick? I'm gonna pull a word out of Mayor Congress's book. I wanna convince you, Mr. Lamont, that's your word. I'm gonna use that for a minute. But I looked at, since you've been coming in here, you've been talking about recycling, I think that's great. You know, a lot of us use it in the community, and I thought, how much would it cost our city to bring it back, like through Republic? And with Republic, it's either everybody does it or nobody does it. There's no, you can't just pick like 15 houses and go for it. At the price that it would really roll on to the taxpayer is, well, this is my word, ginormous. And it's really, I mean, very, very crazy. What you're asking for $1,200, I applaud you for everything you do. I'm a strong supporter of yours. I stand by your corner. I stand in your corner. Actually, my sister lives on the corner by her. But, you know, it's like, hey, so what am I? But, you know, I really appreciate what you do, and I think that you're not only doing a great service, but you're doing also a better service as well, just not only keeping the city clean, but, you know, really saving some money. And that's what we're all here for, is try to help our citizens on that. So I want to give you a round of applause, bro. So thank you. But, yeah, I would definitely keep it up. And as for your motion, I will.
You're going to second it? Okay.
Yes,
It
I will
was
second it.
costing us approximately $1,300 a month.
Okay, I don't care, we saved $100 right there.
When we had the bin.
That's a month, yeah.
It's a month.
I'm
Yeah.
not asking for that.
Yeah, that's a year for his, so.
I'm a supporter as well, and I've actually taken advantage of your services.
And
quite a
Lee's
bit.
offered some of his space at his facility too. We haven't taken advantage of that, but he's definitely offered some
Yeah,
support too.
and so more my question is the logistics of it. Do you have 2 loads ready to go now, or just 1 load?
Just one load, and they're coming Thursday. They're coming whether you guys approve this or
And
not.
it's $600 a load.
$600 a load.
So the need is really the need would be immediately $600,
$600.
so you wouldn't need the $1,200 now.
Not now.
Could that be, as we're discussing this, could this be done as needed? $600 now down the road?
I'd rather do it in one check, one $1,200 check. It's much easier for finance to
It
do
would. I mean,
that.
we're for sure gonna have a second load. I have a full load. We're just sending plastic. And that's gonna fill the truck up, and I'll probably have 1 or 2 bales left. So there's gonna be a need for a second load, but it's gonna take some time. You know, I started doing this last September, and I'm just now ready for a load. Granted, a lot more people are coming now, so the second load's gonna get here sooner. So it would be probably easier, just so I don't have to come right back, you know, how soon it's gonna happen, but I'm happy with whatever you guys decide, as long as it's yes.
I believe it's 100% proven himself, you know, it's not like he's gonna take the money and run.
Right, and you got the, what's the nonprofit, 50, you're a 501c3?
I have most of my paperwork here with me right now. I'm talking with Chris Scroggins. He's a CPA here in town, and there's like one more meeting we've been meeting to set up. I called him today. The meeting is set up for Wednesday at 1 o'clock. He's got some of my paperwork. He was finishing some stuff. I'm pretty sure we're done, and I'm what you stated. But I couldn't say yes 100%, there's no more paperwork, but we're getting there and gonna get there for sure.
And for those that don't know, getting a 501c3 is hard to do, there's a lot of hoops to jump through.
There was,
And it takes a long time to do.
And if I didn't have help from Kathy's husband and Chris that I stated, I don't, and you point me in some direction too, Lee, it is a lot of hoops to jump through, and it's kind of difficult, so I've had help getting there.
Just before you vote as a council, just be aware it's an outstanding program, but I also want you to be aware that you are using public funds for a private program of what's a minimal amount, $1,200. I just want you to be aware of that before you vote.
And personally, I don't see any difference in that, and,
So just information before you vote.
I appreciate that, but we are using a private service when we hire people to mow the city lawns, are we not? Is there a difference in that?
That's been out. That's been out.
Well, we only have.
We make donations, I mean, people make donations here,
Yeah,
Commissioner Garibaldi. I'm just suggesting that you be aware of that before there is a vote.
Well, I'm not identifying this as a donation or a payment for service.
Is there any been a second?
I made the motion,
Second.
Ian seconded it.
Commissioner Garvelia?
Yes.
Commissioner Story? Commissioner Perkins?
Yeah, buddy.
Commissioner Messersohn?
Yes.
Mayor Condon?
Yes.
Hey, thank you guys, I really do appreciate it.
Andy, thank you.
Thank you. You're the one doing the work.
No doubt.
Okay, that's all I have.
You hit, give me that.
Oh. sorry. Okay, and I'd like to, make a motion that we pay the bills in the amount of, $364,330.90. Let's make that motion. Approve that.
Second, did you make a motion?
She did.
Second.
Commissioner Garvelia?
Yes.
Commissioner Story?
Yes.
Commissioner Perkins?
Yes.
Commissioner Messersohn?
Yes.
Mayor Condon?
Yes.
Is that all here? The, city attorney Tom Knockovich update?
No, I don't have any updates this evening, but I do have this demolition proposal when we get to meet when you're.
Okay, let's just, run it down G then. Okay? This is discussion and or approval of demolition proposals for the following properties. And then I'll let Attorney Malkovich take over.
We have, 5 properties that were in the process of either going through court or getting voluntary, permission to, take down these houses at these specific residences that you'll see there. And in each of your packets, you'll see some bids. We've, been using, AP excavating, and you'll see bids, and we can do these separately in case there are any adjustments. The first one you'll see is a bid to, demolish a house at 120 West Adams Street for $3,600. We would need a motion, and approval to, move forward with that, once the paperwork is done.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second it.
Commissioner Garvelia?
Yes.
Commissioner Story?
Yes.
Commissioner Perkins?
Yes.
Commissioner Messersohn?
Before I vote, the only thing I would wanna know is a little bit, at some point, how do we get the history on these properties and how they got to this point? I know we're at the decision-making point.
I mean, I wouldn't know the history, Mr. Messerschmidt, as far as how long the house has been in disrepair, but obviously our code enforcement officer has went out and made a determination that those are in disrepair, so we would either end up in court if the owner doesn't agree that they're in disrepair or doesn't desire to fix them.
Okay. Yes.
Mayor Condon?
Yes.
The second one in your packet of proposals is at 114.5 West Adams Street for $3,600. We need a motion to approve that.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second it.
Commissioner Garvelia?
Yes.
Commissioner Story?
Yes.
Commissioner Perkins?
Yes.
Commissioner Messersohn?
Yes.
Mayor Condon?
Yes.
The third proposal is for 402 North 10th Street, $3,200. Same motion.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second it.
Commissioner Garvelia?
Yes.
Commissioner Story?
Yes.
Commissioner Perkins?
Yes.
Mayor Condon?
Yes.
Next, at 903 Grand Street, you'll see it's a house and a garage that will be being removed, and that proposal, is for $5,000. We'll need a motion to approve that once it's ready to go.
Is that the house with the tree that was on it?
Excuse me?
Is that you don't know the specific?
I'm not sure, I know there's several.
There's that one that's right next to the Nils house that I know it's gonna,
I'm not sure, I know it's a house and a garage, but I'm not sure if it's the one with the tree that you're
Oh,
talking
let me
about.
ask you a question. We have 301 North 10th, and it's at 4 something.
It's 402 North 10th, that address was a typo.
402?
So this
It
one's
is
902.
402.
Yes, and this one's 903 Grand Street, it's a garage and a house, $5,000.
903 and not 301?
301 we're gonna do in a minute, that's
Oh.
on a different street.
Oh, okay.
Right now, we are at 903 Grand Street.
I'd like to make a motion
House
to-
and a garage, $5,000.
let's do it.
Did you make it?
Yeah.
Second.
Commissioner Garvelia?
Yes.
Commissioner Story?
Yes.
Commissioner Perkins?
Yes.
Commissioner Messersohn?
Yes.
Mayor Condon?
Yes.
And then we have one at 301 Parish, and again, it is a house and a garage, and that is for $5,200. We need a motion to accept that proposal, and the house is ready to be removed.
I'll make the motion.
Commissioner Garvelia?
Yes.
Commissioner Story?
Yes.
Commissioner Perkins?
Yes.
Commissioner Messerschmidt?
Yes.
Mayor Condon?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Just a little side note, I've got a dear friend here, and his name is Mayor Frattini, and he and I went in office at the same time 4 years ago. We had this little, I'm not a betting man, but we had this little kind of bet that we would beat, Ben would beat him, and he would beat Benton. And he let me know that he just ate my lunch. They've torn down 82 houses in Heron in 4 years and about 3 months, and we're cresting into the teens. So we're going to have to get on the ball here. As you guys are surfing through getting car license plates and things, you'll notice that Benton has a lot of houses that are unoccupied. They're probably beyond repair. And the problem about these types of houses, and the former chief and the present chief will tell you, that these houses are used a lot of times for squatting and for drug use and other activities that probably aren't becoming to the citizens of Benton. So there's a reason we tear down and do what we're doing, tear down houses. So that's the reason why. So hats off to Mayor Frattini, and I guess I have to buy him a hot dog at McDonald's or something.
I'll buy it for those.
Can I make a statement? We have $20,000 budgeted for tearing down houses, so we're gonna have to revisit.
We are, and we had a gentleman that donated $6,000.
Yes.
And he continuously asked me what houses are we torn down, and I've had an answer of I don't know, which is kind of a stupid answer to give. So luckily, we have some addresses now, so I can tell Mr. A that we're going to tear down X amount of houses. No updates other than that. Discussion or approval ordinance prohibiting razor wire / Constantine wire. We have discussed this before. We've heard from the audience. Razor wire is really, really, really dangerous in the city of Benton. And we have, is it 2 places, Commissioner Story?
Yeah.
We have 2 razor wire places. And Constantine wire is a comparable type of wire compared to razor wire.
Right.
So, it's just a no-brainer. We're giving these people, I think, Tom, wasn't it, a 90-day removal period. And as far as I think we're concerned, there should never be razor wire or Constantine wire on a private property. The feds use it, and they probably need it. But just to put it around your facility for...
The jail's got it.
Jail has it, yeah.
What's the ordinance number on that?
1912.
Where were the 2 locations, just to make sure?
One is, go ahead.
Yeah, I knew that one. Where was the second location?
Along Illini asphalt,
Oh, okay. Got it.
all the way down, and it's not very high, it's not that high.
Okay. I couldn't picture that one.
The kids ride their bikes up and down on it.
So we need a motion and a second for
I'll
this.
make a motion to accept that ordinance.
Second.
Commissioner Garvelia?
Yes.
Commissioner Story?
Yes.
Commissioner Perkins?
Yes.
Commissioner Messerschmidt?
Yes.
Mayor Condon?
Part C is discussion or approval of extending residential trash service contract for a 4-year period. For you rookies, when I came in the office, our trash service was questionable because the way that Benton was piling trash on the curbside, it was in plastic bags, barrels, whatever, and it was blowing all over the city. We contacted Republic. They won the bid. They supplied us with containers of, is it 90 gallon, Jennifer? 95 gallon, and with the lid, and it overnight cleaned up the city of Benton as far as trash blowing, trash type of thing. So they're up for a new contract, and that's what the proposal's for.
The current contract allows us to have 2 4-year extensions, and this would be allowing us to move forward with that first 4-year extension.
Did you make a motion?
You need someone to make a
Okay,
motion.
I make a motion that we continue with Republic for our refuge service.
Second.
Commissioner Garvelia?
Yes.
Commissioner Story?
Yes.
Commissioner Perkins?
Yes.
Commissioner Messerschmidt?
Yes.
Mayor Condon?
Yes. Part D is discussion and/or approval of discontinuing free trash service for the Benton Civic Center, Kiwanis Hall, City Park, Library, and churches. That'd be effective October the 1st.
Give a chance to make a notice on the bills for them to get their own.
Any discussion?
And these are the weekly rates. These are monthly rates.
So, discussing that, we're going to send notices to each of these
Yes.
establishments. And there is an established fee for these establishments already. So in that notice, we'll include that fee and give them the opportunity to pay for their own.
Mm-hmm.
And that would just be reflected on their own water bill. Is that how we would do that?
If they choose to.
Okay, if they choose to.
Yeah.
What was this total monthly? Is there a subtotal? I don't have it here.
I don't know what those add up to. You can see on that page that Republic's given us, Commissioner Messerschmidt, with the amounts for each of those facilities, 9D.
Month.
It looks like it's $755 for the churches, $475 for the public facilities, if I did the math in my head right, Commissioner Messerschmidt.
That's correct. Here's my only thought on these. These are all nonprofits, and they function off of a fixed budget that they already have set, and they're working within the middle of a budget year. And, which most of us, even at home, are, so be told all of a sudden in the middle of a budget year, by the way, you're gonna have to absorb so much money every additional month. I think moving forward, it's the right answer, that a little more ownership on these establishments' parts is necessary, is appropriate, especially when we're looking at costs and what to do with money. To put it at them all in one shot, and all of a sudden just say, hey, here you go. Has there ever been a discussion of a transition time? Can we work with these organizations? Can we I don't even know what I'm trying to say. Is there a way to soften the blow versus just going from straight one to straight to the other?
Can only give them a grace period for, like, say, till the end of the year, until the fiscal year starts.
That's what I'm wondering. Can we help share the load a little bit until that time comes, and then have an expectation with them having a heads up so they can anticipate and plan and work forward? Because, nonprofits sometimes are very limited to their resources, and kind of work with them, say, hey, this is coming, but we're going to work with you to help you make this transition, rather than just go, done.
I think part of this has come about because we were trying to work within our budget as well, and trying to find a way to absorb an additional cost to each of our consumers and our residents, and find a way to absorb that cost. And one of the ways was if we cease providing this service for the
Sure.
individuals that we
Sure.
listed.
Well, yeah, I remember discussing that, I understand that. I'm
Yeah.
just wondering, is there a way to even,
There's not a set date on the agenda. If you guys want to make a motion that instead of being October 1st, if you want to make it January 1st. I mean, that's up to the council as a whole.
That's kind of what I'm wondering, give it a little more time, a few more months in there, and I know it might put, the city may not reap the full benefit, it may not be able to save the consumer the full benefit is what we were gonna try to do, but could we do that in a slightly more extended period of time rather than,
Do you want to make a motion to be January 1st?
yeah, I think I'd like to make that motion if
I'll
that's,
second that.
it's a good break period.
I think that's a very valid point, I guess, so.
Commissioner Garvelia?
No.
Commissioner Story?
No.
Commissioner Perkins?
Yes.
Commissioner Messersohn?
Yes.
Mayor Condon?
No.
That motion dies, if somebody wants to make a motion with a different date, where there's a recommendation by the mayor of October 1st of 2019.
I'll make that motion.
I second.
Commissioner Garvelia?
Yes.
Commissioner Story?
Yes.
Commissioner Perkins?
Yes.
Commissioner Messersohn?
No.
Mayor Condon?
Yes. Part E is discussion and or approval of approving Fall Festival for Saturday, October 26th, 2019, at the Benton Park. And I'm gonna also read Part F, is discussion and approval of Festival of Lights for Saturday, December 7th, at the Benton Park. And Rachel, would you address that, please, while we're moving from the square to the...
Sure, absolutely. And I'm going to keep it brief because, of course, we have talked about this issue before. So, council, thanks for letting me address it. So what we're doing is we're just shifting it over because of the demolition of the courthouse, and there will be constant movement there. I haven't gotten actually a firm schedule on what that movement will be. And so, rather than take any chances, we decided to go ahead and use this as a catalyst to do what we've been talking about doing for years, and that's shifting it back over to the park. So, it saves us money as far as auxiliary. We don't have to close down the square. It's safer, it's more confined, and it gives us more opportunity. So, that's why I'd like to move it over to, and this is Fall Fest, move it over to the Benton Park. The Benton Park Board has already approved that, as has the Benton Civic Center. Their board has also approved the use of, basically, as long as their venue wasn't rented, the entire parking space for the venue. And so they've approved that as well, which I thought was maybe impossible. But it happened, and they were very agreeable, and it's been a really great community effort to put it over at the park. So the last time that we discussed this, or you discussed it, City Attorney Malkovich had recommended that we discuss this further with our insurance to make sure that there was the additional coverage that was needed, considering that we're talking about adding a little bit this year, including a hayride. We need transportation from the Civic Center over to the park. That being said, I did touch base with SCD Ray, and Bob Ray has talked to Bliss, and they have already agreed to do the underwriting for the event. The Festival of Lights last year was $250, and mind you, that had a large ice skating rink there. So they said this year's special event insurance coverage would be between $250 and $500. So the change won't be that drastic. As far as the Festival of Lights go, this has been discussed with the park board, and using the park as an option is not an option. They close down the park during this time of year, and it is not up for discussion. So, finding a home for that needs to happen. But in order to do any kind of solicitation to businesses around town, I have to have a date for that. And no matter what, we will always have Santa come in on a fire truck and stick with tradition, even if we do isolate it to nothing but Capitol Square or Capitol Park this year. We will do our finest to make sure that everybody in town, all the children, still get a free Christmas. So, that being said, I'm asking for October 26th to be the date for Fall Festival at the City Park. And I'm asking for December 7th to be the date for Festival of Lights, wherever its home becomes.
Okay, do you have any brainstorming, have you done any brainstorming? Well, I know you have, but do you have any place at all for the Festival of Lights? I mean,
You know, it's tough. We erected a 32-foot tree
Yeah.
last year. We'd like to be able to keep that somewhere. And I'm not sure that the courthouse lawn is going to be available for that. So it would be tough to be able to put something like that, say, on high school property. Oh my. So, yeah, I would like to actually get the committee together. We have a very stellar group of folks who've been working together for the last 3 years. And I think that between all of us, we'll be able to get approval and announce a location.
how about the
Before
hospital?
Fall Fest. That sounds good.
How big a
Maybe.
spot do you need?
You have a suggestion, you guys?
I mean, it
Funny, I was
depends on
thinking
what we
Mr.
decide, what we decide to have there.
I was like, come on, buddy.
And
You're parking all the way, but I don't know if it's gonna be.
But then
Well,
maybe people
we
in
want
it.
to tree, we
Well, but I
want
was
to be
thinking, like,
able
what about the
to
property
facilitate
behind
Santa
the
come
car?
in.
Big empty parking lot behind that,
Yeah.
or if they don't get involved and let them close down industrial parking down there this
Big
year.
thing
Yeah.
there.
I know they've already got a
In the backyard, they can come down Main Street.
So we let them do their
Pull in
parade,
there.
and partner with them, bring festival lights.
I'm
in.
Well, I'm getting some evil eyes. Yeah, you get a new sign with that.
I mean, it will, if you're okay with that.
Hey, you gotta pass the goal.
Okay, so I guess we're asking for help on some suggestions for the Festival of Lights.
Is the Fall Fest the same night as the town Halloween trick or treating
It's
event?
the same thing. Oh, we set the date for that. The council as a whole sets the date for trick or treating
Okay.
every year, and in the past, we've done it on the same day.
I just didn't know if people are gonna be pulled too many different directions, I just wanna.
There every year. They
Yeah,
either come to the
there,
square and
every
load
year.
up, or they go to neighborhoods and load up.
I got it. I got it. How about 1,200 acres? We could do it at the mine.
Oh, that's great. Let's get everybody turkey mites while they're trick or treating.
That would be a good idea, though, you guys.
That's the gift that
You
keeps on
can,
giving.
hey,
Right.
you can travel for hours on a hayride.
You know,
And scare the heck out of them.
You know, and it may be, I don't know that people would travel out of town for it, but how neat would it be to do it on city-owned property out of Twin Oaks?
The Christmas one?
Yes. It's a thought,
I'll burn
So-
some, I'll burn
right? I mean, if all else fails, we've got an inside and an outside venue there that belongs to the city that will not be rented because we close it down every winter.
Good idea.
So,
That's a good idea, if you don't
throwing it
take
out
the
there.
money.
So then you need a motion for October 26th for the Fall Fest at the Benton Park.
Yes, sir.
That's the first motion.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Commissioner Garvelia? Commissioner Story?
Yep.
Commissioner Perkins?
Nope.
Commissioner Merschman?
Yes.
Mayor Condon?
Yes.
And the motion for December 7th is the date with
To approve the
undetermined
date.
location
Yes,
for
sir.
the Fall Fest, for the Festival Lights.
Yes.
I'll make that motion.
Make that two.
Commissioner Garvelia? Yes. Commissioner Story?
Yep.
Commissioner Perkins?
Uh-huh.
Commissioner Merschman?
Yes.
Mayor Condon?
Yes,
Thank you.
thank you.
And the October 26th is called Fall Fest, not Halloween. So the emphasis is more on the harvest side of things than it is on the.
On the spookiness, yes.
So get your bids ready. We're going. And your house slippers.
Okay, on I, the discussion or approval of sale or future use of the city-owned property immediately south of the Franklin Hospital. Tom, do you want to address that?
Mayor, I would suggest that on H and I, we need to go into executive session, and I will impact J. So at this juncture, we need a motion to go into executive session for 14A and 14C, but we need to take care of 10 through 13 prior to that motion.
I'll make the motion.
Let's take care of, if you don't mind, let's take care of 10 through 13, then we'll make that motion to go into executive session. Commissioner Short, if that's okay.
I guess that'll be fine.
Any miscellaneous business?
The boys ain't here. We'll be quick.
Any old
Julie's
business?
ready.
Any new business? Done.
No, I was just gonna say that everybody's gonna do with the police department, work with them on banning cars, that's
Okay.
what we'll do.
13, matters from public audience.
I'm gonna fool you, I don't have any.
I'm gonna pat you on the
Melvin?
head.
Haven't seen you in a while. You're supposed to, announce your name, so if you would, Melvin Gibson.
Melvin Dixon.
Okay.
Earlier this month, I received my cable bill for New Wave.
Yes.
It went up about another $20. And they said it's $110 a month now. Now, that's $110 for watching TV that I don't think the city should, I think that you're the regulatory body for the cable franchise. And the girl told me, I called up to complain about the bill. She said, well, it's going to go up again next February, probably. So they're just, since they have a captive audience, they're free to raise your bill no matter how much or every year. And I don't think that's quite fair. They should be regulated by the Commerce Commission or the city, which I think is the regulatory body that grants the franchise. And I think the city needs to explore another communications company as a new way, because these people are going to start just charging money every year, more money every year for about the same television service that you get. And I just got notified that in September they're going to be doing away with some channels and adding some new channels, and I don't know if they're going to be paying for that or not, but I think that they need to be contacted and told that they don't get this under control, that the city needs to explore the possibility of getting another franchise provider for the city.
Yeah. Melvin, everything you said, I agree with 100%. I mean, you're right. And I was told 3 years ago that, they're the only game in town. So, did I like that? No. I think the cable TV industry in the United States is all the same. Any place you go in the United States, you hear the same argument. That doesn't make it right for Benton. And
this is just $110 for basic cable service.
You might have
I don't have any premium channels. I don't have ESPN 1, 2, 3, 4, 10, or 20. Whatever.
Other than,
I mean, you got satellite TV, that'd be your other option.
I got Dish, and mine's $84, and I don't know how many channels, more than I can watch. $84. We was going, when we moved to our new house, we was going to put New Wave TV in it, because I got their internet. So I called Dish, my bill was $134. And I called them, I said, how much my Dish taking? Well, why? I said, I was going with cable. Well, what would it take to get you to stay there? I said, about $80. She said, how about 84? So, that's what I pay, tax and all.
I don't know, when cable service first started, I forget who it was, all we had was this cable box without the TV, and it's like $15 a month. Now the thing has tripled or even 10 times that amount in the last 30 years. So I don't think the cable, the TV, that's $110 is just that's outrageous.
I agree with you.
I do too.
Victor Shockley, zoning chairman. I'd like to say thanks to Ian for showing up to our zoning board meeting online. All you guys are invited to our zoning meetings to kind of show up, stick your head in, see what's going on with us. I do have one thing to say on the recommendation on the Constantine wire, the razor wire. I think we also was looking at changing the height of our fencing, because our fencing ordinance is 8 foot on fences to 6, because all the properties in Benton are only 6, even the city-owned ones around there, so we need to also change that.
Bigger.
For barbed wire.
Victor, I changed that.
Okay.
That's in the
That's
new
an
ordinance.
extra.
That's for barbed wire.
Yeah, from, just for
Correct.
barbed wire, I think, the only one that's 8 foot is the one running federal for.
We took care of
Okay,
that.
all right, no problem.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Victor. Julie? You-
No, just agree the town needs to be cleaned up. Need, keep pushing it.
Okay.
So
What
Don,
was it?
I met with, Chief Andrews, was it last week that we met, and, because actually, gosh, I guess a year ago, I was checking how other towns handle all of, take care of all of this. Our ordinance does state that, that our law enforcement is to be part of this as well, and I'd asked them if they, because I thought, a uniformed officer out doing some of the postings and the inoperable vehicles might be, carry a little more clout with it, with the people who are being posted, and that when that gives the officers a right to step on the property, and who knows what else they may uncover at the same time. The chief was very gracious and acceptable to that, and said that they would be willing to do anything that they could to help in that, because it's a big area to cover, and it would, all hands on deck. I'm with you too. I'm ready to go out and help with some of this as well.
Takes a lot of control.
It,
Not a cost. Not a cost. But
Yeah.
we'll get it done with what we got.
But I was looking for more efficiency,
Right.
And of course, I was told if I was looking for efficiency in politics, I was,
I think they got it.
barking out the wrong door, but I was looking for more efficiency. If they're out, driving around anyway and they see something, and he said tall grass is not usually on their radar, but he'd have them put it on their radar.
Well,
Wonderful man.
they have got a new investigator that will make a good job for him to be out looking for grass and cars.
we need a motion to go into executive session for A, possible acquisition and or sale of real estate, and C, discussion of possible appointment, employment, compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of a specific employee of the public body or legal counsel for the public body.
I make that motion.
Thank you, guys.
Commissioner Garvelia. Commissioner Story.
Well, we're gonna start doing
Because, we're on video, so you better line up or somebody's gonna tell you about it. You can always go back and review it.